Hello and welcome to another AQA GCSE 8300 series past paper. This is the June 2017 Foundation Tier Paper 3. It is a calculator paper, so we are allowed to use calculators. Now, the first thing you'll notice with your exam paper, and by the time you're doing paper 3 you're probably used to it by now, is that you've got a box that says centre number, candidate number, surname, forename, candidate signature. This is the most important question to answer on the entire paper. If you get these wrong, you get no marks at all because the examiner can't trace you or award you your marks. Sometimes these are already filled in for you. If they are, really do check that the information is correct. You should have been given at least some sort of correspondence telling you your centre number and your candidate number. Just make sure the information's right. As I say, I can't stress this enough. If they can't trace who you are, they can't give you your marks. Okay, so it says for this paper you must have a calculator and mathematical instruments. And by mathematical instruments what they mean is a ruler, a protractor and a compass. For a calculator, I would like to recommend you use your own scientific calculator that you are familiar with. You can sometimes borrow a calculator when you go into the exam from the invigilator, or you could borrow a friend's calculator before going in, but you take a huge risk doing that, and you really don't want to be wasting time looking for the right buttons. When you've got your own calculator, you know where your buttons are, you know how to use it, and you know the little quirks and foibles of that particular calculator. So for instructions it says, use black ink or black ballpoint pen. Draw diagrams in pencil. This is really important because sometimes scanners and photocopiers, they can't see blue ink, and if the examiner can't see your work, they can't mark your work. This one I would take with a pinch of salt. It says answer all questions. That just means all questions carry marks, and you can theoretically get every single question on the paper. If you can answer every single question, you could theoretically get marked for every single question. In practice, you tend not to have time to do everything. I recommend you have a try at every question, but if you look at the question you think, I just don't know how to answer that question, move on to the next question, hoover up as many easy marks as you can, and you can come back to that question at the end if you still have time. You must answer the questions in the spaces provided. Do not write outside the box, around each page or on blank pages. It's fairly straightforward. Those spaces provided are what gets scanned and sent to the markers. If you write outside the spaces provided, again the examiner might not get to see your work and therefore can't mark your work. Do all rough work in this book. Cross through any work you don't want to be marked. Again, you can be marked for your rough work. If you start working on a problem and you get some of the, you can pick up some marking work. Not all the marks are just for getting the right answers. Sometimes you can get marked for the actual way you work it out. The information for questions are shown in brackets. The maximum mark for this paper is 80. Now you've got 1 hour and 30 minutes to do the paper. So that's 90 minutes to get 80 marks. So I recommend budgeting around about 1 minute for every mark. So if you get a 3-mark question, take 3 minutes on it. At the end of the paper you should have 10 minutes left to go back and check through your work. You may ask for more answer paper, graph paper and tracing paper. These must be tagged securely to the answer book. Again, if they come untied, then the examiner can't trace your work and you won't get marked for the work that you do, and that's just tragic. In all calculations, show clearly how you work out your answer. Again, very important, you do get marks for how you work out, not just for the answer. For example, in a 5-mark question, you'll get 4 marks for how you worked it out and 1 mark for the actual answer, generally speaking. The only other advice I want to give is, and I do try to stress this, is go to the toilet before the exam. You are allowed to go to the toilet during the exam, but you're not awarded any extra time, and as we just calculated, time means marks. Okay, and that's it for the June 2017 paper 3F. We'll pick up in question 1 in the next video. If you're taking your GCSEs this year, I'd like to wish you every success with your revision and every success with your exams, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.